Coming soon to stnutrition.com, we got the Strong Tower Training Program. It's going to be dropped October 1st, 2021. And I've been working hard on this, guys. And what it entails is full workout program. Everything that I do during the week, I'm going to put it on there, see if you guys can handle it to get you where you want to get to. Whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to gain muscle, this is for you. If you want to gain confidence, if you want to start to love yourself, this workout is for you. There's always going to be modified stuff to it, and you can click on the workouts, and you can also check out nutrition. We're going to have nutrition guidance, and I work with a certified nutritionist to get the best guidance possible for you guys so you can learn how to take care of yourself and eat right and think about your body. So check it out. Strong Tower Training, October 1st, 2021. Today's guest I brought in because I wanted to talk about fitness and faith. So these two things to me go great together, and when you talk about them, the analogies, the metaphors that you can use for each other, they both work well together. And this woman is someone who I used to work with, and just watching her train was impeccable. And I just had a whole new level of respect for her. And so I brought her in today to talk to her. And we talk about faith, we talk about love, we talk about health, fitness, training, nutrition, all the above. And so here she is, Mary Barrett. It's my foundation. It's my faith. It's my work ethic. It's my drive. It's everything that I've tried to build for myself that has made me who I am. I'll do what it takes to make you believe. And I worked with a certified nutritionist, and we talked to each other to say, okay, what do people need the most for nutrition guidance? 'Cause that's all I'm giving. I'm not giving out meal plans. I'm not giving out that stuff. But the guidance to learn how to eat better, like learning your calories, your caloric intake, and learning about what a carb is and what is fat and what is good fat. And things of that nature, and try and treat it as if like I'm teaching a newborn baby something, how to use the website and then also how to navigate it and how to read stuff. I have parts where it shows you how to read a workout, because a lot of people, they don't know about sets and reps.
Nope.
They're like, what is 4 times 10? You know what I mean? So just explaining the baby steps and the little things. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. That's what we did, though. We tried to empower people that when their relationship with us broke, that they could come into the gym and do it themselves. I knew that's what I wanted my girls to do. Like when we were done training, like our professional relationship, when they were done their contract, that they would continue on whatever journey that they wanted, that
Right.
they didn't feel that they couldn't do it themselves either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're to walk with them, not do it for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So where did you go after you left Retro?
Wawa. I did.
Okay.
I just got a job because I knew my paycheck. At the end of the week, I knew my money. You work X amount, you get paid. And with training, it just was so unpredictable. We couldn't live with a feast or famine. Some weeks it would be good. Other weeks, no one was able to show up or do anything. And then you knew I don't get any paycheck from that. So as times were changing, I needed a steady income. Like every week, I knew that this amount was going to be there. And we had to help each other. Our family was growing with grandchildren and all that, and we wanted to be a part of that. And sadly, it does take money to sustain life. So basically, and it also came at a time right when we were just talking that I had to recertify. So I had to make the decision if investing another X amount of money to get my certification back would be worth it in the long, it would take me a while to make up what it costs. And I decided, no, I end it when my fitness certification license ended.
Right.
And then I got a job. So that was it. I mean, I know that I can recertify anytime. So that's the good news.
Right.
It just hasn't led there yet because without talking about the world, we had just to keep going.
Yeah.
And it's not pointing back that way yet.
Yeah. So even though you had to do that, where was your was your passion and love for training still there?
Oh, it still is to this day. As you
Okay.
can see, my eyes literally just lit up.
Yeah.
Because that's where my heart is. I will help anyone, anytime. I will join them. My husband gave me the blessing of setting up our whole basement as a beautiful gym.
Yeah.
And I would love to invite anyone, anytime.
Yeah.
You know, we have treadmill, we have ellipticals, we have punching bag, all ready to go. It's never stop. I'm down there every day. I
Yeah.
call it my happy place. I would
Yeah.
live in that room. And now 2 of my grandchildren love it. As soon
Right.
as my grandson, Mom, we doing a workout. So that's the spark too. Just watching these little children down there with me. He runs on a treadmill with me. He lifts weight. Like he's my workout buddy, and they just love it. So the passion has never changed.
Yeah.
Never. In fact, it's deep there. Yeah. What I long to do and know that God's working on it. Maybe
Right.
He has something really special, because we were just talking about women or people my age. You get to hit 50 and you're like, well, that's it. And I'm like, no, bring it on. I'll definitely help you and walk with you. I just know it's for a lifetime in some capacity.
Yeah.
Because it's about that word wellness.
Right.
It's not about anything else but being well, being fit, using what God gave you. And it's just, to me, amazing coming from where I came from to now and still being able to do it. So no, the passion is very much there.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that, like where you came from and how it all started for you.
Yeah, definitely. I never worked out much. I was happy, so I thought. So I was about 234 pounds, and without the whole story, realizing that that's too much to carry on a 4 foot nothing body.
Yeah.
It just is. Nothing wrong with that weight. So I decided something had to be done. I just got up one day, danced with Richard Simmons with
Yeah.
my children. Like, I was 30. I had 3 children. I was married already for 11 years when I started. I just got up and I danced. But then it became something else, So, yep, that's how it all started. Just realizing something had to be done with where I was. And I got up and did it.
Right.
But it didn't stay well for
Right.
long, because it did turn into an issue. I contracted anorexia from it.
Okay.
So within about 18 months, I was down to 78 pounds. And there was a problem. So
Right.
that had to be dealt with. My workouts were not Richard Simmons. My children were no longer included. It became Billy Blanks, Jillian Michaels. They were my source of everything, and that's what
Yeah.
I focused on. So we battled that for a while. Like I said, we were talking about the blessing of a marriage, and I just have a husband for 31 years who's been behind me, next to me, with me through that whole journey. The
Right.
good, the bad. He said, I'm your intervention.
Yeah.
And we just walked through that, and God just blessed us with healing and with the opportunity to become a trainer. Because as I got well, He did know that I had a passion for all that I learned, all that I've been through.
Right.
And he was simply driving a bus, and he talks to his riders. He's a bus operator. And one man on there happened to be a trainer. And he said, listen, I have an opportunity. And he gave him all the information for ISSA to
Yeah.
become certified. And he really felt that I could do that and be a blessing and used with my story and now understanding, because I didn't understand, like we were saying, calories, good fat, bad fat. I just cut it all out. I
Yeah.
figured you don't eat. And that's very not true. Right now I eat, but I
Yeah.
know what I eat. I know how to eat. And I use food as the source of nutrition that it is.
Right.
So I guess in a nutshell, that's about it.
Yeah. So what was that period of time like for you to lose that weight, and when did it become about health and less about weight loss?
Well, obviously it wasn't until my husband kind of told me. And then I did get the advice of I had to see doctors. I had to see a therapist to help me through this, because I was taken to an eating disorder ward because I was headed there.
Yeah.
And I saw that and what those women went through, and I did not want that. So my husband told me I will do everything I can to avoid that. So we talked with the doctors, and they met him, and they felt that I was I had great support to do this at home. So it was through that learning and doing what I had to do to get back to looking at my children, knowing that this is the wrong example, the wrong thing, and that I needed help. And it was years' journey. It was years of fighting this and self-image and all that stuff. But that's what I learned through it. It takes everyone. I had so much help, so love of family, love of my children, great doctors, great friends, and then an opportunity to be put in front of me to use all the pain that we've been through and try to turn it into something beautiful. I know I've been blessed with many stories of the people that I've helped during training, just the wonderful relationships and doing it different. I tried to bring fun and passion to it, not just like, you have a weight problem, let's get it all. No, that we just had fun in those sessions and just cheering them on. Everyone needs encouragement. Whatever you do, you're here, you showed up. This is a great day. And you're human. On the days that you feel, I can't do one more rep, sometimes you can't, but we're going to do it together. Yeah. And I never left them. We stayed every rep, however long it took them, just knowing that I was there to help them like I had the help.
Yeah.
So I'll go on and on with stories. I just loved every client that I had. They have been incredible. Course. And sitting here with you, so we were just talking, the young people that embraced me. I was over 40 when I got my license, and I worked in 2 retro fitnesses, and just the caliber of the other trainers that I met, like you and Brandon, just embracing me and what I was trying to bring to a different demographic and having those conversations. I'm like, this is such a blessing. I said, you both fine young men.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was easy because I would show up at 5 a.m. to train someone. You would already be there. And the way you train, not train your clients, but train yourself, the way you work out, it blew my mind.
Thank you.
So it gave me a whole level of respect for you. So that's why I'm still keeping contact with you to this day because I respect you so much of where you came from. And also like that we could talk about faith and we could talk about health and things of that nature, so, but just watching you work out, I think was the biggest like motivator for me.
No.
And, cause you talk about your age and stuff like that, but you don't work out that way,
I don't.
And I mean, watching you work out is just, I don't know. But it definitely gave me a whole, level of respect for you.
That's the passion that I have because I told my girls, and I had men clients too, that I would never ask you to do what I don't do or haven't done or show you. So, and just, like I said, I love it. Yeah. That's my time. That's been my blessing. I said, to see how your body works when you fully understand what you're doing with it. It blows me away.
Right.
So I'm like, you can do it. Even the other day, I was having trouble in a workout. I'm like, nope, you got it. And I did, like I said, you just don't give up. You do it how you modify. That's how life is, right? We can't give up. We just may have to do it different.
You got to modify, right?
But we have to get to even if we crawl, we have to get to the end of it.
Right.
So that's kind of like where I am now. I don't know if I'm crawling or what you will call it because there's still so many blessings. I'm not in the place I want to be, but maybe I am where God wants me to be.
Yeah.
Like I said, and trying to embrace that, I said, just looking at where I come with 5 grandchildren, a marriage that stood 34 years, wow, that's something. The experiences, I did get to do everything I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I've written books, I've spoken, I've trained. I'm sitting here with you. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think, like you were saying, this may not be the place I'm meant to be. And I think we always have these timelines in our head because I'm the same way.
Yep.
And I'm all over the place trying to sow different seeds, to make something of myself. I don't know what God's plan is for me, but I'm going to have different areas that it can be. Whether if I fail in one area, maybe I'll succeed in this area, But I think trying to do what he puts on our hearts and what he puts in our minds, because a lot of times too, he'll put ideas in our head, and we think it's our own idea. Oh, I'm so glad I thought of that. Really? But because I've been in that exact position, and I'm still in it today. but I continue to just work. You know, I never want to be stagnant. I never want to just sit still and just wait for something to happen. You know, but that's what I would tell people is just find what you love, find what you're passionate about, and sow those seeds. You know, they may not happen overnight. It might take a couple of years. You know, because after I stopped at Retro, I lost all passion for training.
Yep.
You know, I was actually doing at-home training. Like I had my own little business doing that, right? And I just completely got sick of it because people weren't doing the workouts, people weren't eating the food, and I was just like, I'm putting so much effort into this. I'm putting 120%, and these people are giving me nothing. You know, I don't even care about the money.
No,
You
it
know?
wasn't about the money.
Right.
Nope.
But when I'm giving more effort into your body than you are, that's what really irritated me. And it took me I stayed away from training for 2 years.
Wow.
And then finally, I started at this job I've been at for the last 3 years. And then this idea clicked in my head. Hey, I want to start a supplement shop, you know? So I went months trying to figure out how I'm going to open a shop. But then all of a sudden I had this guy that's, he was like the financial guy at the church we used to go to. And I sat down with him and he was like, dude, start online. You know? So I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So, and that's how I started. You know, and I've gone through several bouts of failure with this business. But then you slowly start to see success. And you start to see growth. And you start to feel good about it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then that's when you feel like, okay, maybe this is where God wants me. Maybe this is what he wants me to do. You know, because it's always an unclear thing. You know, but this is why you have to dig into the Bible. You have to dig into prayer.
Yep.
You know, to hear God's voice, those are the things you have to do. You can't just sit around and wait for it.
No.
But
I heard a sermon about that just the other day.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to happen unless you go and participate in it. And like I said, I'm at Wawa longer than I thought.
yeah,
It'll be 4 years. And to us, we're like, wow. You know, I thought, yeah, I'll get us a kickstart. I'll have money coming in. And in that time, I'm sure I'm going to be back to where I was training and life will be good. But that's not so yet.
right.
But I know that there's a lesson.
Yeah,
You know, and God's still having me look for it. But that's okay. You know, things like sitting here with you today and talking with other people. And when I got to speak with Amanda on her podcast, I
Yeah.
think that's the beginning.
right.
Like you said, you feel hope. You're like, okay, you know, I don't know where you're leading me, but like you said, you can do that one more rep. If that's what
Exactly.
God's asking you to do. You're like, I don't want to, but you're like,
One more
you
rep.
can.
Yeah.
One more rep. You know, and that's how.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's got to be my motto.
Yeah,
You know, because like I said, just the physical example the other day where I thought I couldn't do it, but I'm like, you know what? You can do it this way.
yeah,
And I did. I got the whole workout. I felt good, and I thought, how bad would I have felt if I had stopped? I just thought about that. Like you know, you hear "don't stop before the blessing," and we often think that's so cliche, but it's cliche because it's true.
Right.
What if we stopped and didn't do that one rep?
right.
You know, when God's like, you know.
Yeah, I've
so-
seen a graphic that's been passed along. I think I've seen it on Facebook and stuff like that. But so it has two guys with like pickaxes, and they're banging at these rocks, right? The guy on top is banging at the rocks, and at the end of the rocks there's a jewel, right?
Yep.
So he's banging, and he keeps going, right? And he has a little bit to go. The guy under him, banging at the same rocks, seeing the same jewel at the end, he has one more bang to go. But then he turns around and walks away from it.
I love that too, because I was just thinking our deepest treasures are buried deep. Because it took the ugliness of anorexia
Yeah.
to bring me around to learning and having a passion to share, because I know the pain. Everyone's like, oh, well, just eat something. It's not that
It's not,
easy.
no,
I
right.
can relate to the physical pain, the mental pain that people are going through. And like I said, just to have someone to talk to. Because once you're an addict.
Yeah.
I know that we can recover, which is where I feel I am, but I know that I have tics. Because once you're addicted to something, it's not that easy. Like I said, I'm walking strong, but some days you do feel weak. And
Yeah.
you want to turn, you're going to have tics, you're going to have triggers that wants to take you back. And that's where that faith and support all come from. I said I could probably maybe easily go back.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I don't have to. I'm not that. You know, and every time I feel bad about myself, you do look at where you come and you're maintaining on what you learned. It's like, it is incredible. I'm like, what if I didn't contract that? Where I would have never learned all this. I wouldn't have known what it feels like also to feel good on the other end of it, to be where I should be at my age, height, weight, body structure. It's like, wow, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I talk about this all the time, and I tell my wife constantly, is to use your obstacles as opportunities
Yep,
rather than let them stop you,
yep.
you know? And like you turn your obstacle into an opportunity, you
Yep.
know? So how was it that you got over and through and past the anorexia? Like what happened after that?
What happened after that, I got to talk about it and speak about it. I remember being with my one psychologist. Well, I only had one therapist. And I remember sitting there just crying and saying, I can never talk about this. I'll never be able to talk about this without crying. And here I am today. I remember the first time I was blessed with speaking publicly about it. I would break down ugly crying within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They had to literally take me off the stage a couple times. And then when I heard myself just at the beginning of this week speak, I'm like, wow, I sound so different. Not that I was saying anything different,
Right.
but the
tone of your
peace
voice.
and the calmness and that I wasn't crying. And I had that thought. I'm like, I can talk about this without, and that's only because of God, because my healing was not anything that they thought would have happened, because I did damage my body so badly. They were getting ready to do a lot of medical things, hormone replacements and all the things that they were sure had to be done. And 2 weeks before I was going to have my first treatments with these hormone replacements, God said, nope. He reinstilled my health in a way that was absolutely incredible. I never had one medicine, been to one hospital. It was done miraculously. I turned my heart and mind back to him. I did lean back in, and like I said, I had my husband there. Like I said, he's never left me alone.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people want to pull away when there's a problem, and he just dug in deeper. And I think had he not done that, it could have went the other way.
Right.
But he dug in, and I did what I was asked to do, what I wanted to do, what I should do. And then that made it like a partnership, like you and your wife. You work together. If you're both doing 100% of what you have to do, it's going to work. It's not going to be easy, you know.
Yeah.
We've shared your stories, and you both are doing 100%. It's not 50-50. It's you doing 100, her doing 100. And that's what makes a relationship. So we both did what we committed to do, and what we were blessed with the outcome. And going back to just talking about my mother-in-law, who constantly prayed for me, she led me to salvation.
Wow.
And all that, I was coming out of my sickness when it was known to us that the Lord was probably going to take her home. And I wanted her to see my book so bad. I was starting to write about it. My first book is How a Mess Became a Message.
Wow.
It's actually the testimony during those years. And I got it done so that she could have it. Everything's dedicated to her, which is why my book series is called Mother in Love. She was my best friend. She was everything on this earth. She was my example. I had her for 18 years married, and every day was a blessing. Like I said, she took a 16-year-old kid, first of all, became my friend, then at becoming engaged a few years after that, becoming a mentor, and then when I married my husband, becoming my mother-in-love. She just dug in deep to me also. And I remember one of our last conversations, just thanking her and telling her that I'll never forget what you taught me. And she looked at me, she said, you better not, because she invested so much into me, and I'm so grateful for that.
So how old were you when you accepted Christ?
23.
Okay.
Yeah, we had two children. Our second one was 6 months old. And
Okay.
she had for years been gently inviting me into her world, speaking scripture, sharing what she was reading in the Bible. And she had asked me to help serve at a salad supper with her Bible study group.
Okay.
I loved her so much. If she asked something, yep.
Yeah.
So we went, and we were handing out lemon squares and iced tea, everything that you would think of a good Christian lady salad
Right.
supper. But during the night, I was listening to the music and listening to the stories as we were serving and cleaning up. It just was so much fun. And being with her and watching her faith and the other women. So, and she drove me. She picked me up. My husband had the two children. So off we went, and we're coming back, and we're talking about the night, what we heard. And she was sensing that something was stirring. And she asked me, would you like to give your life to the Lord? And I don't know. We were a few blocks to my home, and we were like down an alley, so there was a garbage compactor, trash. So she drove over, and she said, would you like to trade the trash of your life and put it in that trash can for salvation? And I'm like, I can do that? Mm-hmm. She said, yeah. And I said yes, because I wanted what she had. Her peace, her love, her joy, and over the years knowing that it only came from Jesus. Mm-hmm. So we prayed the prayer of salvation, and there at 23, that's when I accepted the Lord. So I'm 51 now. So all those years, and we know the ups and downs.
Yeah.
You start off strong. Sometimes you go into those valleys, come back up.
Right.
But
And that's what I was going to ask you is, because recently, I was asked, like, what is a born again Christian? And it's exactly what you went through.
Yeah.
When you accept Christ as your Savior, you are, in a sense, born again.
Yep.
Because now He's given you this new life, but it's up to us to live that new life.
Yep.
And a lot of us don't, because I know, and for me, I accepted Christ probably 100 times.
Yep.
Because I was never sure. Until one final year at camp, when I was in high school, it finally hit me. Like, this is what I want in my life. And I grew up in church.
Yes, you did.
And it wasn't until I was 28 years old, which I actually decided to let God run my life. I've always believed in God.
Yes.
But it was then where I'm like, okay, I really want to change my life this time. Because then you accept Christ, but then you just keep living the way you were living. And that's not the way to go.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And so how did that work for you? Did you change
Yep.
your life right after? Or did you have like those times where you're like, I don't want to...
No, because I was blessed with this example, I was immediately introduced to a wonderful first church for my children. My mother-in-law just continued to invest. She led me in Bible studies for beginners, and just having the heart that just want what the Lord wants. Mm-hmm. Just start there. You're not going to be perfect. Understanding about His love. And because she had so many years of being a Christian, I had someone that I could talk to about it. When I felt like, are you sure this is right? Or I'm feeling this way, she could answer questions. Mm-hmm. So I called her my Titus 2 woman. Okay. And that's the other thing that inspires me now. I want to take that position. Yeah. I want to talk with people to say, yeah, like wisdom. In the Bible it talks about we need wisdom. We need the truth. We need integrity. And I was blessed with seeing the example. We're all human, but I mean that she would invest what she knew. Right. Her love, her time, and singing to her grandchildren the songs. So I'm trying to do that now with my grandchildren, and leading them to the Lord and praying with them and just being, all we have to do is live. She said, you're going to be, we all know the only Bible that someone may ever pick up is what they see in you. Mm-hmm. And filling those shoes, like we said, I think we're charged with that. Yeah. Because she is not here, but her legacy is. Right. We'll be together one day, what we believe. I will see her again, and you want to hear, well done. Yeah. What we're human. And that's what I'm learning, to know what God says about us, because I know what I say about myself. And sometimes it's not nice. But like I said, knowing what God says, I think that's what being a born again Christian is. Just
Yeah.
know what he says. And holding that book. I just love even like looking at my Bible when I'm not reading and be like, how much power is in that book?
Right.
You know, that's how it is. I do try and keep it simple because
Yeah.
it is simple. It really is. It's all with your heart, mind, and intention. It's simple. But getting it to work in this world,
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and also, these last 3 years that I've been doing security, I have never shared my faith as much as I have in my life.
That's awesome.
Like these past 3 years. Never in my life. Because I pray a lot to lead by example, for people that are watching me, for my nieces and nephews that probably are watching me, to see what I do. And to anyone who questions, because if you tell someone you're a person of faith, they want to see how you act, But I remind people, like, hey, I'm not perfect at all. There's tons of stuff I have to work on.
Yeah.
And I really am. I'm really trying to work on it, and it's going to take me a long time.
Yeah.
But, no matter if you're a believer or not, I think God can use you in so many different ways,
Yes.
Because when you look back, he chose people that weren't following him to work through.
Yep.
So it's just those little things, and I love comparing, and that's why I kind of switched my podcast up a little bit. I took this long break because I was working on my training program, so I wanted to switch it up. I want to talk about like fitness and faith, because I feel like it intertwines together
It sure
so
does.
well. Like when I think about squatting, and I think about putting a bar on your back and the heavy weight when you're going down and trying to push yourself back up, you got the weight of the world on you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's just about, having the strength to get back up. It's just, and then also like, where are you going to get that strength from?
Yep, I just had the same thought because I could feel what you're saying because being a trainer. But I'm thinking when you're down there, if you're not intentional about getting back up, you're not going to.
Exactly.
You're going to stay down that, and you're going to drop the bar, and
Yeah.
you're going to get hurt. But like you said, once you're down, you have to have the intention to get back up, and you see the expressions on people's face. I'm sure some of your pictures, like when you're lifting heavy, like you said, it takes everything you have. You make those faces, you grunt, you scream. And that's why God says, cry out. Tell me what's going on. You're going to get back up. It's
Right.
going to be hard. But like I said, you got to push and lift and stand. So that was a great visual for me. Like I actually felt it in my quads going down, like he's saying squatting with this heavy bar. I'm like, whoa. But yeah. It takes all that intention to make it through. And just the example you gave me of sharing your faith in your job, which is an encouragement to me, because where I am, sometimes I find it hard.
Yeah.
You have about a 30-second interaction with people at a
Right.
counter. The world's different. Sad to confess, you're not always in a great mood because people have been yelling at you, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
And that's where you got to dig deep. And so that
where
to
it
me
comes
was
out, yeah.
a huge encouragement. I think I needed to hear that today because it is getting hard out there. We don't have to talk about the way the world is. Society is a hurting place, and we don't want to look at that way. We just want to look, oh, people are this and that. But if you think about the pain, I just think that they're hurting.
Yeah.
They don't know where to take it. So
Right.
they're going to take it on the easiest target, which affects the target, and then you don't want to
Yeah.
explain to them about faith or act to them. So it really is some days digging deep when you're swamped and you're like, I just want to tell this person. You probably hear God tell them what? Why don't you tell them about me?
Yeah.
That's the hardest challenge at the
is.
moment.
It is. I mean, and if I was in your shoe, I think all you can really do, if you can't physically talk to the person, I would just, like I said, lead by example.
Yep. Being kind.
Yeah. It's just like, wow, Mary, like, treated that person, like, well when they treated her like crap.
Yep.
And that's one of the hardest things to do. I couldn't do it,
It is very hard.
But, so going back to, like, your journey with your, like, weight loss and getting through the anorexia, and when did you start to see confidence in yourself and self-love and stuff like that, because that's what I tell people when we think about working out.
Yeah.
First thing that comes to people's mind: losing weight, gaining muscle, being more toned. And I think that's just the broad thing for people to say. You know what I mean? That's just the overall goal, which, okay, we get it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always something deeper. It's like, okay, do you love the way you look? When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel confident when you walk into a room? You know what I mean? And for me, lifting has done all of that for me. You know? I mean, it's not as serious as anorexia, but I feel like I grew up with a sort of like body dysmorphia type feeling. And I was very, very self-conscious about my body growing up. And I was athletic, so I wasn't like fat or anything, but I had this vision in my head of what I should look like.
Yep.
And I was in middle school. So, and that led throughout my whole life. And then lifting and getting into bodybuilding and seeing what I can look like when I put in the work and getting the feeling of what I felt when I worked out and seeing the results. It did more for me than just looking in the mirror. It made me feel good and be confident. I once had the finance guy from the church I was telling you about. He told me, because we met at like a Chick-fil-A or something to talk, right? He was like, dude, when you walked in here, you look like you own the place.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's just the way I walk. He was like, no, you walk with a lot of confidence. And I think I give lifting credit to that, and I give God credit to that.
Yep.
So those two things, which is what I want to, build as my foundation of my life, is fitness and faith. So do you have any moments like that?
I just know that when you feel well, you do well. I've been told, even now when I'm running around the store, they're like, you're walking with such power. You're doing things with such power. But that's, like you said, who we are, what we do, what we bring to something. If I'm going to do it, I'm doing this 110%. And I do think that understanding working out and knowing that, just being able to know that you can do an 8 or 9 hour shift and you only sit 20 minutes. You're standing and moving, like, I can do that. You do feel good about things like that. I love that I can run with my grandchildren. And I remember first losing weight because I was never used to like getting second glances. And I am 30 and people were commenting and having the second looks.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow. That gives you confidence that what you're doing matters. And I do enter rooms like you do with, like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do. I don't think that I would feel that way if I wasn't keeping up with fitness and wellness and just being intentional that this is what you need to do for yourself, eating well, whether you are overweight or not. We have this great asset. Everyone thinks that it's about medicine and stuff, but God gave us what we need. We have an immune system. He gave us all the fruits, vegetables, so to take advantage of that, researching that instead of just opening a bag of whatever. Think about what you're eating.
Exactly.
I do like the confidence that it brings and the knowledge of knowing, like you said, I can do one more rep because I'm ready for it. I think that you have to prepare, like we talked about nets and fields. You're preparing your body. Like you can do what it's asked to. You can combat a sickness maybe.
Yeah.
If you're doing what you need to do. This is my part. This, like you said, is God's part. So yeah, I do feel that keeping up with fitness is what's going to allow you to get through life. Like I said, I can run circles around the 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds.
Exactly.
Because I have the endurance. That's what else. And we know in the Bible it takes endurance to get to the end. It's not about right now. It's about getting to the end. I'm still doing it at 51. And I still want to be doing it at 60.
Yeah. I'm the same way.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
I really do. I love teaching classes. I love helping. I love participating in it, even when I'm in one, just being around people and enjoying enjoying another instructor, enjoying what they have to bring.
Yeah.
It's just good stuff. Like you said, in a good way, in a positive way. You're doing something good for your body, mind, spirit.
Right. And I like what you said about the preparation, because you think about it, when you're working out, when you're breaking down the muscle, you're preparing your body to, whether, let's say you're trying to get stronger. You're preparing your body to be able to lift a more amount of weight every single
Yep.
time. And it's the same thing with your mental and spiritual state.
Yep.
If you're not prepared, you're not going to be able to handle what's coming to you. But these struggles that you face every single day, and getting over them, because you always will.
Yep.
Even if it's something really hard, like someone in your family dies, someone that's close to you, you can never really be prepared for that moment, but that moment can prepare you for something else.
Yep.
So, and that's another way I love that it all ties in together.
Everything is
with lifting and
interconnected.
faith, yeah.
I'm a very functional trainer, so I train for life. I always tell my girls that you want to be able to carry your own groceries,
Yeah.
walk the stair, So that is my intent when I'm working out. Like, I know that's what I'm doing it for. Like, I can run stairs, I can jump, whatever, I can carry my own bags. And now with the type of work we're doing, becoming expanded to door dashes, and like, I'm carrying gallons of water, I'm carrying cases of water, I'm carrying bags and bags of ice that people are ordering, and I'm
Right.
like, I can do that because I'm in my gym an hour
Yeah.
every day, almost.
Right,
I do
right.
take one day of rest, and that does prepare you. I'm thinking, what would I do if I was not doing this stuff?
Right.
And mentally ready, because that is your time. You are kind of focusing on we don't focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy in that hour, because during that hour, I can only be there. No one's asking anything of me.
Right.
In our life, we have different roles. No one can invade my space. And that's important too. Like I said, we all need to disconnect, at least for a little bit.
Right.
And that's the mental. Because
Yeah.
as soon as you step out of that gym or your workout area, your life begins again. The phone calls are coming. The needs are coming. You're going to work. The stress is coming. Like you say, preparation. I think that's a great word and takeaway.
Yeah, and you can see the difference too when you say, like, even on a rest day, and you can see the difference between the day that you work out and the day that you don't.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, your focus is so different. You might want to be more lazy on your rest day, when it's probably good to be, because your body
is
does
good.
need rest.
Yep.
But there's just sometimes where I don't. I work out 7 days a week sometimes.
Even walking.
It
like you
depends how
said.
I feel, right?
Yep. Playing. And even on our rest days, I couldn't see you sitting there on the couch with a bag of chips. And,
Oh, no.
no.
No,
Like I
not
said,
a bag
that
of
wouldn't-
chips, no.
No, that wouldn't happen. Like you said, we may rest,
Right,
but you're still intentional.
right.
That's another big word for me. Intention or thing.
Right.
It doesn't happen. Sometimes we slip. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I need better clarity right now and more focus, but that's okay. We'll get there. And days like this where we're having these type of conversations, I do believe it does shift you back
Right.
and focus. You're like, wow, listen to what we just talked about and shared. And
Right. And that's the importance of it. And that's why I love doing this, because you
Yes.
hear someone else's perspective of things and you're just like, oh, wow, I needed that.
Yep. Exactly.
I hear it all the time when I listen to people speak, and especially in church.
Oh,
Like, when I'm there and I hear something, I'm like, ooh, I love that.
Yep. Write
know?
it down. Remember it.
Right. Because it
That's what-
stuck out and it implanted itself in my mind. I was like, I love that saying. I was like, I needed that. What was the saying? I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the girl said, Jesus didn't endure because of his strength. He endured because he believed in his Father and God.
That's right.
And I was like, wow. So that stuck out to me. Through the whole podcast. Whole podcast was an hour.
Yep.
And that's the thing that she said that stuck out to me the most.
Well, we find that when we're listening, it's usually one thing that you're
Yeah.
going to take away from a whole hour conversation. Just
Yeah.
one. I just try and find that one takeaway, because you're not going to remember everything.
Right.
But if
Sometimes
you
that's
have
all you
some-
need.
Yep. Yep, definitely. This is great. I said it's such a blessing to be talking about all this stuff and almost feeling like you're in the gym again. I said, because we
Yeah.
did have some conversations in the morning at 5 a.m. I
Yeah.
was talking about serious things, fun things,
Right.
what we heard, like I said, and that's what I love too. Like I said, that community, we don't want
Yeah.
to be isolated.
Right.
So even people listening to what you're putting out there, they feel part of something.
Right.
They know that they probably can message you
Yeah.
and be like, Ben, can we follow up on what you're doing? How do and that's the biggest gift that you could get to interact with another life sometimes.
Right, and I mean it's fun too. Bringing a community in together, and it's something that I'm trying to build with my training program.
Yep.
And bring people in to first start off with whatever goal they want to reach. Whether they want to gain muscle, they want to lose weight, they want to gain confidence, they want to gain love for themselves, they want to have mental clarity. We're going through this whole mental stage in life with all this anxiety, all this depression. And the only thing is, when they go to their doctor, here's a pill.
Yep.
Pill here, pill there. I understand some people probably need it. But, hey, let's try working out. Let's try taking time for yourself. And really pushing yourself. When you, it's so crazy. When you push yourself to the point of exhaustion, where you think you can't do anymore, and like you said, you do one more rep,
Yep.
there is no anxiety in your head.
Nope, you're totally wiped out.
You have no energy to be depressed. You have no energy to have anxiety. And it takes it all out of you, and that lasts the whole day.
Yep.
So that's why, when we talk about getting our workout in, or when people say go to the gym, I just made a post on Instagram the other day about people say go to the gym. I like it, but I don't, because you don't have to go to a gym.
Nope.
You can do it anywhere you want. It's just about getting a workout in. Do a workout, push yourself to the point of exhaustion, to the point where you've never pushed yourself before. I struggle doing that sometimes. And sometimes I need motivation, or I need someone else to do that. But when I do, eventually do it, like I feel better about myself than ever.
Yep. Definitely.
So I mean, it's one of the most fun things. Like, I do some powerlifting, so I incorporate that into my workouts. And when I think those days are when I have the most fun,
It is fun.
because I'm pushing heavy weight, and some of it may be my first time even trying to lift, and I get nervous.
Oh yeah.
And I get scared. But even if I fail, it's scary, but then I always get back up.
Yep.
And then when I succeed, I feel the best about myself than I've ever felt.
Absolutely.
And that feeling doesn't go away.
Nope.
But yeah, that's one of the things I love about the correlation between faith and fitness.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then when it comes to nutrition, I mean, it's a different animal.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So how would you see, what would you do with your clients, like with nutrition wise?
Let's see. What would I? Well,
What do
you
you
find out. We found out what they're eating. Find out, even like you say, well, I don't like that, or I don't like this, and you find out maybe like why they don't like it. But just explaining to them, like, we don't. First of all, I think when people know more, they do better. So maybe tell them what everyone's scared of fat. I was scared of fat, but
Yeah.
but once they understand what a fat is, what a calorie is,
Yeah.
they're going to want to make better choices, because I cut out all carbs. I thought they were bad. That's why I lost so much weight. But here, a carb is good. That's your energy. There's
Yeah.
complex carbs. There's even fat.
Yeah.
There's the omegas that you need, and when your body doesn't need it, like, the object is not to deplete your body. I didn't know that.
Right.
The object is to nourish your body.
Right.
So I think that's what I would talk to them, and just see what kind of foods they like and how that we can do better. And that it is, like I said, a discipline. It does take time, because I know you're probably sometimes into meal prepping.
Yeah.
Think about that word again, preparation.
Yeah.
I would probably talk about, them thinking about more about what they ate, and understanding. We didn't understand, like, when we went to school in the 80s and stuff, they didn't talk about nutrition the way we didn't know what a carb was. We knew junk food and good food. That was
Right.
it.
Right.
and I think that's what I would do with client. And by example,
Yeah.
I will be able to tell them what I eat because, like, I do it.
Right.
So just try like you said, be in one with them.
Yeah.
Do what I do. And sometimes I'm the worst example. I'm very careful with my clients and protecting them and taking care of them during the workout. But then I'll go down there and do some dumb stuff myself
Yep.
and get them. My husband will say, "You wouldn't have done that with a client, would you?" I said, "Nope,
Yeah.
absolutely not." So you try and lead as best you can, but
Right.
we take some liberties
Well,
sometimes.
well, I think sometimes with that too is like you are more disciplined than the person that you're training. I used to have clients look at me and say, "How come you can do that and I can't?"
Yeah,
I was like, one, our fitness goals are different, and two, I've been doing this for a while.
yeah,
So my discipline level is different than yours.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can eat this one time and then be done with it.
Right.
But you eat one and you're going to want another one and then
Yep.
another one. You know what I mean?
Yep. And doing it small. Everyone, I guess I thought in the beginning it all had to be done overnight.
Yeah.
And it's very hard when we want something so bad to wait.
Right.
I'm like, well, I want this weight off now. But knowing that you didn't put it on overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be a journey and a process to get it off, you
Yeah.
know. And now I only can say that like being on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, and seeing it and trying to embrace it. I didn't embrace it in a healthy way for many years, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think, well, what if I would have done it different?
Mm-hmm.
But the woulda, coulda, shouldas, it wouldn't have led me to learn what I learned and the blessings that I've had because of it, even allowing myself to contract anorexia. I wouldn't
Right.
have learned, I wouldn't have been able to give back, to go through the bad
Right.
now. So, yeah, but discipline, understanding, those are all interconnected also.
Yeah. I mean, and that's something that we just talked about in church the other day is when you ask the whys or the what ifs.
Yeah,
Instead of saying that, say what's next.
I like that.
So when you get put to a test, when you're going through hard times, or even a hard workout, to correlate the two, just say what's next. All right, what's next? I used to love clients like that.
Yes.
Like I would push them hard through an exercise, and then after during the rest time they'd be like, all right, what's next? I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. You still going?
You motivated them. You sparked something.
And that's what I like.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we should all do. I know we'll take our time to rest and mourn or cry or stress or something like that, but get over that and just say what's next.
Well, that's something I think I needed to hear today because of where I am. Like I said, I feel like I'm stuck here, grateful for the blessings, but you can't help being human and feel like I'm stuck.
Right.
But just that encouragement, like you said, what's next? If you think about the what's next, and I kind of have to admit, I think that I've stopped thinking about someday. I can definitely feel that I'm just so focused on what I'm doing, thinking about how to make it through, that you're not asking, okay, God, even ask God, what's next? What's next? And be a little excited. Like sometimes you're scared to get excited because we don't want to be disappointed. You're like, well, if I don't hope, I don't have to worry about it. Like I'm not going to feel let down. But that's such an encouragement to me. Like one of my girlfriends and I, we talk about asking the right questions. Ask a different question.
Right.
So that could be what's next could be the question.
Right. I mean, it's something I always ask to myself when I see myself failing.
Yep.
I was failing with my online business for a couple years, and I took a step back from it, and I was like, all right, this isn't going the way I want it. What's next? So I prayed about it, and God just put His idea on my heart, and now I'm going through with it.
Nice.
So and I think for you, it's really just praying about it and sowing the seeds.
Yep.
Just planting them and just seeing what God wants for you. If you just stay in one place and you don't go for other things and go for what you love.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to shoot for it. Go for your passion.
I've been in that season too because I'm trying to get resumes together And I'm like, well, I don't want to do anything. I said, I can't do what I love.
Yeah.
And they're like, why? So that's an encouragement too. But see, they're like, go for it. I'm like, well, I don't have my certification. I'm older. Don't worry about it.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing too. Anyone that wants to do better with their body, like they want to lose weight or whatever, nobody is asking you if you have a certification.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's so many people out there, like on Instagram and stuff, they're all doing it without it. You know? I know it makes you feel better. Because it's the same with me. I'm in the process of getting my NASM just to have it. You know, I don't need it. But I feel like if I want to be professional,
Yep.
I want to have it. You know? So, but it's good that you want it.
Yeah.
You know? But don't let that hold you back from doing something that you love to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Put yourself out there. You know, social media is a huge platform.
Yeah.
You know, put yourself out there and just really, like you said, be excited about it. And just tell yourself, if you fail, just say, what's next?
Yeah. What's next?
You know, and just pray for God to put that on your heart, and it'll happen.
That is an awesome encouragement because I needed to hear that.
Because you're very good at what you do.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll stand behind you 110%.
Thank you.
And tell people, because I've seen you train clients. I've seen you train yourself. You know? So.
And that's what I have left. Like, I have that spark.
Right.
It's the direction.
Right.
Now, like you said, that what now? What if? You know, what if I apply for a job and they say, well, you don't have all the credentials? You know, what if?
That's when you go and start something yourself.
Yep.
Figure out how to, okay, what am I going to do with myself? How can I go out and, you know, reach people?
Yep.
You know, and I think if you pray about it, and I think if you rack your brain on it, and you just really think about what you can do yourself, because we're in an era where everyone is starting their own things.
They are.
You know, because you can do it. You know, keep your job that brings you money.
Yep.
But then do this until that gets you to that place. Because that's what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's always 100 excuses. I was just sitting here
Right.
thinking about that. I'm like, oh, I have 100 excuses.
Exactly.
I'm too tired. I'm too,
Yeah.
when I'm working at my job, I'm like, there's no, like you said, well, do it. It's not going to come to you or any other way.
Exactly.
But with prayer and intention, and maybe even digging down to that discipline that I like to say that I have so
Right.
much and know that I have.
Right.
Digging into that deeper, a discipline.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and like not being afraid of failure. I'm thinking, well, what if I put videos out there and no one likes them?
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, yeah, you know, it's funny. I always use him as an example, but my dad's the same way. You know, he's into hiking. He hikes all the time, and he's very like invested in it, right? And he just does it for fun. And he also loves video.
Yeah.
You know, he's also a professional wedding photographer. But for his hobby, you know, he videos himself hiking and he puts them on YouTube. He edits them beautifully.
Yes.
He does all this stuff with it. But yet he's like, oh, people don't want to hear me talk. People don't want to see these videos. I'm like, Dad, stop saying that. You know what I mean? Like, if you really thought that, you wouldn't put them up.
That's what people love right now, and I'm sure he's getting comments and likes.
Yeah, I mean, he has almost 500 subscribers.
Wow,
Oh my
that's
gosh,
awesome.
Yeah, I was like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah,
I did the same thing with my podcast. I was like, oh, people aren't watching it. It shouldn't matter as long as the right people are hearing what people have to say. You know what I mean? Like, if there's one person that heard your story and they're probably going through the same thing.
yep,
You know, maybe if they're struggling with anorexia or something like that, and they're wondering how they're going to get out of it.
yep.
Like, how do you know what I mean?
This is like inviting them into your world.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep, just invite people.
Yeah.
That's how I got saved. My mother-in-law just invited me. I just had that thought.
That's all it takes.
If we're not invitational, people they won't accept. But if you're just putting out invitations, okay, I'll
Right.
accept. Yeah, you're right. Like, that we limit ourselves by our thoughts.
Right.
Definitely.
You know, I did the same thing with sharing people my faith. It's like, God, I don't know the Bible. You know what I mean? I can't sit there and say, well, Jesus says in this verse.
Yeah.
I can't do that. You know, I grew up in church and all this stuff, but I still don't know how to do that. I'm not that kind of person. So I figured out, I share my experience. I share the fact that someone asked me, but you can't, how you believe in something that you can't see? I'm like, you believe in the wind?
Exactly.
You know? You can't see that, but you can feel it.
Yep.
I can feel Christ. When I step in the church and we start singing, the Holy Spirit does something to me like, it's I can't even explain it.
No, you
It's
can't.
tough.
Yep, and you know he's there when you just go through something and you know, well, I couldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And like I said, he is there.
Yeah.
And that's huge. And we don't have to know every word. We just have to know him.
Right.
And like you said, he is going to lead us in his word. And we probably all do know more than we think about the Lord.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Mary. Well, this was fun talking to you.
Very fun. Blessing.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Do you have
Thank
anything? You have anything that you want to put out there, or anything like that, or are your books for sale or anything? Do you have them anywhere?
Yeah, I do. I have them at home. They were online. I do have a Facebook page, Mother in Love Devotional Series. I have a Train for the Journey. I was kind of blogging for a little while.
Okay.
I have my own Facebook page that anyone can check into, message me, you know, and a lot of things. Like I said, I took a lot of encouragement to get back and to get back up and to lift again.
Right.
All these things like a fresh new way. Like I said, we were talking about that earlier. Maybe not do it the old way, but there could be a new way. Maybe these books that haven't been around will get into people's hands again, you know, and shared, because they're all God's stories.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're just where I've seen God, as we talked about.
Right.
And so basically hooking me up on Facebook, any of those pages, I'm definitely going to get back to you, because I do believe in that. If someone is reaching out to you, you need to get back to them.
Yeah.
You know, and to give back. I don't think God put us where we are not to help someone else.
Right. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Like I said, I would do it.
Yeah.
I would do it all again.
Right.
So, and it's been, like I said, the people I met, like I said, you and Brandon, and sitting in those gyms with these young men, just including this old lady, and what they're doing. And just been a joy and a pleasure, just sitting here talking with, seeing your lovely home, you know, your beautiful wife and all that you've done.
Thank you.
Like I said, we don't give it ourselves enough credit. I'm like, this is a young man. Look what he's done, standing by his wife, working, having his own home, talking about this is integrity. This is what men and women marriage should be. It's hard.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
You too, Ben.
Bye.
Great to see you.